Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to warn Muslim people against evil people such as David Wood and Sam Shamoun. They should have been named Dumbwood and Shaman because such is their behaviour. I find their behaviour repulsive and obnoxious. They claim to be Christians and trying to convert Muslims to Christianity out of concern for us, but their true aim is to spew as much lies as possible in order to insult Muslims. The last prophet, may their curses become rose petals for him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are just arrogant fools, and I have a clip here to demonstrate their foolishness.
You keep yelling, I'm going to embarrass you. You don't know who I am. Don't cut me off. Listen, you attack the Bible, I'm going to bury your religion. So, chapter 4, verse 24, to show how wicked and evil and immoral your God is, he says to your prophet that married women are unlawful except those whom your right hand possesses. So, according to Sunan Abu Dawud, number 2150, your wicked, immoral prophet said, when you take a woman captive who's married, you can rape her and then sell her. It doesn't matter if she's married. So if you want to talk about evil, I will really embarrass your prophet and your wicked God. But on top of that, in chapter 4, verse 24, and chapter 5,
Did you hear that? He will embarrass our prophet and our wicked God. Who does he think he is? How do you embarrass a person who is in the grave or in heaven? And how do you embarrass the Almighty? You're going to be humiliated yourself on the day of judgment. So, I mean, he's ridiculous trying to make threats just because this gentleman suggested that there was falsehood in the Bible. You know, he's entitled to his opinion that there's falsehood in the Bible, and Shaman is entitled to his opinion that the Bible is completely accurate or the Quran is false. There's no need for arrogance, and I find him a vile, arrogant wretch. David's also an arrogant wretch, but he's playing a chairperson. Really, hatred is written all over his face. They claim they're debating, but they're not debating. Their filthy mouths spew filth and lies, and that's what they're all about. They try to give a really negative impression of Muslims, that we are violent and terrorists, when it's been Western countries which they reside in that have been behaving like Gog and Magog. And they've been committing acts of terrorism and genocide in America against the Native Americans, in Australia against the natives of Australia, in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan. And this isn't Libya. This isn't a complete list. At the moment, they're meddling in Syria and Ukraine. They tried to commit genocide in India and Pakistan, which was one at the time, but they failed. And it's no secret that ISIS, the fascist Israeli secret intelligence service, and their idol worshipping mercenaries have travelled from Syria to fight in Ukraine. And I've got, here, I had some images of all the skulls of the buffalo that they massacred in America in order to wipe out the Native Americans. And here's an article about the real reason buffalo almost went extinct. they were the Native Americans used the buffaloes. They ate the buffaloes. They used their skin. They used their bones. They used their horns. They used them for everything. And the Americans, the European Americans, started shooting as many buffalo as they can, and it was to starve, in order to starve the Native American population. But this article claims that that isn't the reason why the buffalo nearly went extinct. I think that's quite false, because Bill Gates and his friends are at it again, trying to, well, certainly Tony Blair in Britain, he had uh, hundreds or if not thousands of cows killed, because they don't want food for the many. They want to starve people. They always are wanting to kill people through starvation and other means. So here's an article in a Yemen online uh, newspaper saying ISIS recruits mercenaries to fight against Russia. No, America and Britain, Western Christians are so-called Western Christians are recruiting ISIS uh, and mercenaries to fight against Russia. Let's, you know, let's not talk conspiracy theories. Let's talk factual things. And ISIS always comes to the rescue for America, doesn't it? So let's have a look at the next article. Nursery children will be taught LGBT. Okay, so going back to ISIS. Uh, so these Western Christians, uh, as I said, they tried to commit genocide in India but failed. And it's no secret that ISIS, the fascist Israeli secret intelligence service, and their idol worshipping mercenaries have been travelling from Syria to fight in Ukraine for Western Christians who are actually anti-Christian but don't know it. Now, don't get me wrong, there are true Christians in the West and they have an understanding of truth, but these two are misguided, if not evil. The ISIS mercenaries may be labelled radical Muslims or extreme right-wing fascists. They are the same mercenaries but with different labels. They have common Western agendas, mass murder of innocents, and they will deserve whatever they get when they get caught by the Russians. Now, Dunwood and Shamoun tried to hide the truth by distracting people and diverting them to hatred and the spectre of Muslim terrorists. They are vile, pretending to be pure and holy. They despise purity and holiness. Their hearts are diseased and their filthy mouths display this. They are not interested in intellectual debates. They want to play word games and insult Muslims. The best we can do is blank them and let Allah deal with these wretched, vicious dogs. Dunwood and Shamoun talk about paedophilia 1500 years ago. Why didn't they talk about sex grooming going on in nurseries and primary schools today? In today's Western schools, if they are so godly, why don't they speak out about LGBT being taught in nurseries? Um, and as I said, what about all the Christian soldiers that have been raping children and women for the past 1500 to 2000 years? And in the lying Jewish scriptures. So here I've got an article about Mahmoudia, who was only 14 years old, God bless her, and American soldiers raped her and killed her, including her parents. And then there was something else I wanted to show after that, which was a Jewish, it wasn't precisely a Jewish scripture, but there was an article about, here I might have it there, about how if a Jewish man rapes a Gentile girl, even if she's about 3 years old, he's justified in killing her. This is some Rambam's extension of Jewish law. If a Jewish man has relations with a Gentile girl, irrespective of whether she's 3 years and 1 day old, or if she's an adult, married or unmarried, even if the male is 9 years old and 1 day old, since he has deliberately had relations with the Gentile, the girl is killed. For the sin of a Jew has been perpetrated because of her. This ruling is explicitly stated in the Torah, as it says, yet they are the very ones who, at the bidding of Balaam, induced the Israelites to trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor, not sure what that is, and also slay every woman who has known a man carnally. So, if they're so concerned about rape, etc., why don't they talk about these issues? Why don't they talk about rapes and sex trafficking that their leaders, including Bill Gates, Joe Biden, etc., have taken part in and are likely to be taking part in even now if they are so godly? They're just filthy hogs. If they are so godly, why don't they complain about the genital mutilation which is being encouraged in schools today through the LGBT being taught?